Welcome to the complete guide to sourcing your products in China. And actually, this is the best guide that you can find on YouTube. And it's a full, complete guide from the very first step of getting quotations to the very last step of shipping your product, whether that's for Shopify, whether that's for Amazon FBA, whether that's for people that want to have private label products and customize them with logo and anything, or people that just want to place the order. This is for you. And the reason why I'm the one that can teach you this is that I'm in China now since 2013. And I had a sourcing company here. We're still sourcing products for people. I have nothing to sell in this whole series, but the content of this series could be sold for hundreds of dollars. And I know people and I know courses out there that teach exactly the same thing that I'm going to show you here for free. And they charge you hundreds and thousands of dollars for that. Now, what's the catch? Why am I doing this? Why would I go and just give you all of my knowledge that I basically learned here in China by kind of trial and error? Why would I give you that all for free, right? And just to be honest here, I hope that in the future you bump into more of my products and eventually you might find some of my programs, or you might join me for consultation, or you might, hire us to source your product for you. But that's just hopes and wishes for the future. As of now, everything that you see here is completely free. Also, in the end of this video, I'm going to give you a template that I use to contact suppliers. And I'm going to teach you how you can use that template in conjunction with everything that you learn in this video to get all of your questions answered by suppliers. Usually you send out a few questions to your supplier and they only come back with one or two answers, right? And then you have this endless back and forth. So I'm going to tackle that with you and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can get this file for free. And no, I don't need your email. You don't need to join any Facebook group. You don't need to, it's not only half done, and to get the second half, you have to buy it. No, I'm going to give you a link here. You can't find it in the description, by the way. But I'm going to give you a link here in the video that you can use and just go to my Google Drive basically and get the file, right? So you can have the file for free, no passwords, no email addresses, no Facebook groups, no nothing here, okay? So this is a complete guide, and I believe this is the best guide here on YouTube because for two reasons, okay? Number one is that most people who talk about sourcing private label products or just sourcing, teaching you how to buy on Alibaba, the problem is that the people that teach you that, usually the knowledge is very, very limited. There are only a few people that I know that have similar experiences of sourcing products in China and can actually teach it, right? Most people just teach it as kind of like a byproduct from whatever, from their Shopify side or their private label side or their Amazon side, right? So they kind of teach it because they have to. And the problem with that is that if you've only sourced a handful of products, you probably have more experience than the average person that just starts, right? But you will not have the experience that someone has that has done this 1,000 times, right? So that's why I believe I'm the best person to tell you about that. And it's also better than all the Chinese people teaching you that, because it's such a different thing sourcing in China if you're Chinese or if you're not Chinese. If I go down to down the street with my girlfriend, to the market, she's always getting better prices than I am. Just because she's Chinese. So she's approaching people that sell whatever, shrimps or veggies or whatever it is, right? And she say, hey, can I have, how much are the shrimps? And they give her a price. If I go, the price is higher. And the same thing happens to you on Alibaba, right? So if you go on Alibaba and if you reach out to suppliers, the price that you're getting is automatically higher. So if someone who is Chinese, who speaks Chinese, is teaching you how to approach it the right way, well, they have their kind of built-in bonus, right? So let's actually dive in. I'm going to share my screen with you and we're going to go step by step through Alibaba. I'm going to teach you how to contact suppliers, how you get quotations, okay? How do you get quotations for your product? this is what this episode is all about, but we're going to do a few parts, okay? Because this is a whole guide. This is not only a thing that you can only watch, that you can learn in 20 minutes. So get your pen ready, get your paper ready, get ready to take notes. And, if you want to, have part 2 and 3 and 4 of this series and you want to be notified when they come out, make sure to subscribe, because the YouTube algorithm knows if you like something. If you subscribe and hit that bell and like the video, then the YouTube algorithm knows, hey, this person likes these videos, and you will not miss the second part and the third part and the fourth part. And I don't know if there's going to be a fifth or a sixth part, but we try to wrap this. I'm not trying to blow up the content. So let's go right into it. Let's go into the screen. I'm going to share a few things here with you. We go through the whole process. How do you find a supplier on Alibaba? How do you contact them? How do you make sure they're reliable? How do you get quotations that make sense to you? And so let's go through the whole process. After I tell you one more last thing, and I promise we dig in. Okay, so I always think that you should have a sourcing agent. Okay, you should hire a sourcing agent that can help you source your product. Okay, sometimes that's just not possible because you don't want to afford the agents. You want to try it yourself first. Or there are many reasons why you wouldn't do that. I always think that you should do it, but knowing the whole process, how to do it yourself, that gives you the ability to, when you have an agent, that you can kind of control them and see what's going on. Okay. So without any further ado, let's jump into Alibaba. Let's go through the process, how to source your products. Okay. Now we're in Alibaba, and the very first thing before you log into Alibaba is create a new email address. The thing is that you will get spammed with emails from suppliers. So very first, before you even start, before you even go into Alibaba, and we won't share that here on the screen, but before you even go in here, create a new email address. An email address that you can access, but that's not like your main address, because you're going to get spammed with answers from suppliers that you don't even want to have anything to do with. Of course, we think about the environment. We don't like the plastic waste. So let's just go and pretend we're sourcing stainless steel straws. So the very first thing that we do is, obviously we type it in here and we hit the search button. Now there are a few options that you can do and kind of further filter that. I'm going to explain you a little bit, what all of those, what all of those ticks and boxes mean here, and what you have to pay attention for. Okay. So look at all of those products. You have 786 results for stainless steel straws. And lots of them look the same, right? If we scroll down, there are so many things, they all look the same. How do you know which supplier to contact, right? So in the very first what we do is, I always like to tick this. If you order in quantities that are a little bit larger, than let's say your 100 units or your 200 units, I'd always go and say, hey, this is the verified supplier. I want to know that Alibaba has verified them, that someone from the Alibaba company has been at the factory, had a look at the factory and made sure that this is a real supplier and not someone who's, somewhere in a basement putting things together, right? So I like to do that and tick this option when it's, for a little bit, bigger order. And then you already see that the result went down to 500 something, right? The next thing that you can see, and I'm not going to go into like all of the details here, how to pick the perfect supplier, because when you're just starting out and you're just going into your product, just find a supplier that can deliver what you need with the quality that you want and that is easy to deal with, right? You can always go later on and find the perfect supplier that has the best, the best prices for you. So if we just go in here, what this means here is trade assurance. I love to tick that too, because I want to, eventually we're going to pay the supplier through Alibaba. Trade assurance just means that you have, when you swipe your credit card in Alibaba, Alibaba basically, they act as an escrow service. So what that means is that you give your money to Alibaba. Alibaba notifies the factory that, hey, money is there. Now you can start. The factory produces the items and they only get paid if you've been satisfied with everything. Okay. So it's so important that they offer this trade assurance, because if anything goes wrong, Alibaba is extremely helpful if anything went wrong. Okay, so now if we go through here, we want to look at all of those suppliers, and it can be a little bit of work, and it's absolutely worth it though. So what we want to do is we want to first look at the pictures. What of those pictures looks good, like something that could work, okay? And then we just open all of those that we think, hey, those might be okay. We don't even look for the prices right here, because the prices here, that's all bullshit. That's not true. Like 1 cent a piece, that's not even real. Come on. That's all just random prices that they throw up, and they are always going to be different. Okay, so we're just looking through, like, hey, which of these straws could be for us, which is the one that could work, right? And you want to open 20, 30, 40 different suppliers, right? Because something that you're going to notice is that these are not the product listings from individual suppliers. Like this is the company name, right? And by the way, don't even worry about if it's a trading company or a real supplier right now, or manufacturer, right? So here's a supplier name, and you will see that you have the same supplier. Obviously, I can't find it now, but oftentimes you have the same supplier here. Shenzhen, Fujian District, King Phone, Apple, whatever that is, right? It's a trading company. So here you have the same thing. So what you want to avoid is that you contact the same supplier twice. Right? Because that looks so unprofessional, and say, hey, I found you and I think you're the best fit for our product. And then you send them a second email. Hey, I found you and I think you're the best fit. No, you want to have that in one email. And I'm going to show you how you can do that all real quick. Okay. So let's say you browse through all of those and you have a look who looks good, who looks reliable. Obviously, all of those mugs kind of fall out of the picture already. The next thing that you want to go look at. So I'm just cutting this short, okay? We're just going through a few of those. You see those here, the same company. Also, sometimes different suppliers have the same image because they are they have the same image, but they are different products and different companies. It's just because sometimes they just share the same image. It doesn't have to be the unique product. Sometimes they just share it. All right. So if we go in and look at all of those suppliers here, you want to see kind of, hey, who is good, who falls out of the picture. You just want to have a general impression. You want to look at those pictures a little bit closer. You want to see how they look like. Obviously, the prices here, don't worry about any of those prices because it's all fake. Okay, they're all gonna be different, right? The things that you do want to pay attention to is kind of how you can pay for your products. And oftentimes even PayPal isn't listed here. Sometimes you can use it, right? So you want to kind of see where is the factory, Guangdong, China. That's the province where I am living. That's around Shenzhen, Hong Kong. And you want to see all of those specifications, if it makes sense, the product length, what's the MOQ. That's also all negotiable. So don't get fixed on all of that. You just want to go in, get an impression of it. How does it look to you? Okay. There's no science involved. What's the gut feeling that you have about that? And then you go through all of those suppliers, and the ones you like, some of those you won't like. Okay. So you have some you like, some you don't like. So what you want to do is the ones you like, you have this little heart here, and you just want to add them to your favorites. Okay, I like this one, I like that one, I like that one. You just go through and highlight all of the ones. You go through all of those and highlight all of the ones you like. Why would you go through 20 or 30, 40 different suppliers? That seems like a lot of work, right? And if guess what, it is a little bit of work. But the prices that you're going to get, even everything looks the same. The product picture looks the same. Everything looks the same on Alibaba on the listing. You will see that the product prices are dramatically different. You can have 100% increase in price from one supplier to another, but the quality can be 100% the same. It can be the same item, same everything. Just the price is so different. And that's just because everyone quotes a little bit differently. Some are trading companies, they have to quote a little bit higher anyway. Some companies say, hey, look, if this guy approaches us, let's just pitch him that and see what comes back, So you want to go through all of those, contact them, or at least put them in your favorite lists, right? So you should have a list of people in your favorites. And I'm going to share this, template here with you in a minute. But before we go and send a message, it's so important, like I said before, that we don't send all of those people, that we don't send the same message to the same suppliers. So really what we're going to do is we put up a spreadsheet. I'm going to show you that here. All we do later, and that's also, we're going to need that in the next video. So if you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe, because we're going to go through all of the steps in the next video, how to get your samples. In order to get your quotations, and don't get lost in it, because I promise you, you will get spammed with messages. The thing on Alibaba is that they might just put out your product request, or they see, hey, this guy is asking companies for stainless steel straws. Now everyone else look at it. Do you want to quote him as well? Right? And then they quote you. And these are suppliers, because you make the selection right now. You say, okay, this is a supplier I want to see. That's a supplier I want to see. That's a supplier I want to see. And you basically get rid of all of the suppliers that you don't want to see. The problem what happens is, though, that most of the time you get many, many more suppliers that you actually did not want to have a quote from, and they send you emails, right? So you have to find a way to distinguish between who's the one that I wanted and who's the one that I didn't want, okay? So what you want to do is you want to put up a spreadsheet like this, and you want to put all of the suppliers that you contacted initially. You want to put the company name in here. Okay, it's a very simple spreadsheet. For now, there's not much more you need to know about this, and I'm going to go more into depth in this later. But you just want to put the company name in here. Okay, the ones that you like. So what you do is, after you put a few on your favorite list, you go to your favorites, right? When you're in your favorite list, this is where you are, right? So you can see the names. You see, okay, you have this Shenzhen company, you have, someone from Hangzhou, Zhejiang, all of those companies here in your, favorites order, in your favorites folder, basically. So what you want to do is you want to write down the name and copy this name into your file. Okay, because you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to mess up all these different companies. So you want to have them all nicely and neatly in one file. So later, when you receive quotations in your emails, you can look through, hey, is this a company I contacted and that I actually wanted to work with? And then you can just fill it in. I promise you, this is going to save you hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work. It is so frustrating to send out 20 requests for quotations and get 40 emails back. It's extremely annoying, right? Because then you have to go back. Who's the supplier? You have to cross-reference with Alibaba. You have to go back and forth. It's horrible. Okay. Now, to contact these factories, some channels share a trick here, which I don't think is something you could use because when you make an inquiry to the factory, they don't necessarily know which product you inquired for. So when you send them a message, sometimes they don't even know what it's about. Like what product is this about? So I'm going to share the exact message that you should send. Also, you don't want to overwhelm the supplier. Lots of people are complaining to me and say, "Hey Niels, look, I'm sending out a message to the supplier and they don't answer all my questions." And I say, "How many questions did you send them?" "Oh, just 10." And they just answer 2. This is not how it works. You can't spam them with all the messages. So what you want to do is you want to contact your favorite suppliers, and like you have on your list, 20, 30, 40 suppliers. You want to send them a simple message just asking for some key numbers, the prices, the lead times, the MOQs. Once you have those, you filter out suppliers, and then you go back and ask those suppliers that you filtered the specific questions, because otherwise it gets so confusing. You're never going to get all of those 10 questions answered. You want to go and chat with each of the suppliers individually on a different channel and ask those questions one by one, because then you can only deal with those suppliers that already went through the first phase of your funnel and only chat with those. If you ask all of those 20, 30, 40 suppliers all of your questions, that's madness. For 2 or 3 weeks, you're not going to do anything else but sit in front of your computer and go back and forth with suppliers and go mad in the process and lose all your hair. Guess what happened to me? So let's go back here. One of the options that I don't recommend you using, but I want to show you that feature anyway, is you can highlight them all and contact the supplier. Okay, what that does is that you send one message to all of those suppliers here. at the same time. So you only have to send your message once. But I do not recommend you to use this feature, because even though the product information is in here, let's look at one of the listings. Just because the listing link is in there, and this was a bad example, just because the listing link is in there doesn't mean they know the product. Because if you go on here, how do they know which you inquired for? Did you inquire the silver ones? Did you inquire multiple colors? Did you inquire what's the product, the golden one? You know, people don't know that. So when you make an inquiry, you have to reference the product. You have to make a screenshot of the product. We're going to go into that in a minute. Okay. So I do not recommend you to send a message this way. Okay. Go step by step, contact the supplier, and then you want to send them a message like this. And like I say, in the end of this video, I'm going to share a link with you where you can download this template, where you can just copy paste it, where you can get it for free without leaving your email address or without needing to join any Facebook group or something like that. Okay. These are all the questions for later, and we're going to go there later. This is not something that you ask in the first one. Okay. So when you very first contact them, here's what you say. You say, dear, whatever supplier contact name you have. So if you go back in here, you have Uli Huang, last name Uli. So you just say, hey, dear, and you put the name in here, the contact person for the company that they give you there. Okay. Then you say, hey, my name is Niels, and I'm the purchase manager at. You want to put your company in there, and you want to say that you're the purchase manager and not the founder, because that sounds like you're a one-man operation, which probably you are, but it doesn't matter. They don't need to know that yet. Okay. So you say, hey, I'm the purchase manager at. You put your company name here. We are a brand that focuses on, and then you say the product category. So we focus on kitchen goods, we focus on consumer things, on electronics, on whatever the category is that your product is in. We focus on sustainable products or whatever it is. So we are interested in one of your products. It's your. You see how simple this message is, how simple the English is, how simple the text is. That's not because my English sucks. That's because you have to make things as simple as possible. We don't want to overcomplicate things. We won't give any room for misinterpretation. We won't give them any room to misunderstand some things. Okay. So what you do is you say, hey, it's your product name and number. Sometimes they have, here, they have the metal color 6, 8, 9, 12 millimeter. You see the problem right now already when you send a mass message? You don't have all those information in there. So what you want to do is you want to say, hey, we're interested in your 8 millimeter or 12 millimeter stainless steel drinking straw in gold. Okay. And then you want to go to the actual listing. And you want to make a screenshot. You want to say, okay, these are the ones here that you want. Okay. So you want to go ahead, make a screenshot and send them this image, right? And say, hey, this is the one we want. You might even go further ahead, and kind of highlight these ones here. Okay. You might want to go there. So you have to make it as clear as possible what you want. Because the thing is, if you don't make it clear for one supplier, it's no problem. They come back and they answer. If you send 40 messages, it's madness. You don't want to do that. Okay, so let me go back into this one. Okay. Insert their Alibaba product listing link. You want to send them the link. Just like I say, you want to make everything as clear as possible. Copy the URL and send it to them. I attach the product image for your reference. Okay. Do that. You can attach it in the contact form here. Add an attachment, right? Then what you want to do is we would like to print our logo on each product. I attach an image of the logo as well. Obviously, if you don't have a logo that you want to put on it, you don't say that, right? And this is as far as I would go here to make things complicated. The thing is, I just want them to know that we want to customize something so they can immediately say, well, we can't do that for 100 units. I don't want to start working with them and then the process say, hey, here's my logo. And then they say, no, I don't want it. We can't do it for that quantity. I want to make that one point clear up front. Everything else, I'm not speaking about custom packaging. I'm not speaking about weights. I'm not speaking about shipping costs. I'm not speaking about anything else that adds to it, that offers complications. What you want to have is a simple price. The price will change anyway throughout your process. You want to have a simple price. You want to know where you're at. You want to know what's your MOQs. You want to know what's the lead time. That's all you need for this step. Okay. So you want to go ahead and say, could you please send me a quotation for your FOB prices? FOB price just means it's all included, right? It's including the shipping, it's including the handling, it's including everything around it. Okay. That is the price that you want, because that for now is your reference point. Later, we're going to go into, a little bit more of communication. We're going to ask for the exact shipping price. We're going to ask for the exact product price so that you can further compare once you've narrowed it down. But again, you don't want to go and reach out to 40 suppliers and bombard them with all of this stuff, right? You just I promise you will get overwhelmed. It might keep you from starting your business. Okay. So, also, what's your lead time? That's important to know. Some factories say, hey, our lead time is 90 days right now. You probably don't want that, right? Okay, I'm looking forward to an answer. Best regards, your name. This is it. All of those other questions, and we're going to go through them later on, you don't need all of that. Okay? Just this is your contact file, and in the end of this video, I'm going to give you the link to that to this file here, so that you can download and get it from there. Now, pretty much the last step that you do here is you wait for quotations. Okay, so you go and prepare this message for each of the suppliers that you picked in the first step, and you want to send out those messages. The people will come back to you with answers, with quotations in all different kind of shapes and forms. Some will send you a PDF, some will send you an Excel file, some will send you all different kind of things. You have to have an option to compare all of those. So put them all in this file. Ignore all the quotes that you got from company names that you don't have on the list. And then just go and fill in all of those numbers. You will see the different prices. You will see the different lead times, their locations, their name, their image. All of these different things you will see in this file. And at that moment, that is the moment when you make your selection. Okay, you say, okay, this and that supplier, their prices are outrageous. I'm going to get rid of it. Or you might say, hey, their prices are super high, but maybe their quality is good. So I might consider them for later because I really like the product image that I see here. So maybe when I get a sample in the next step, I'll see how that goes. Okay. And so you're just going to fill all of this form, and compare all of them. What we're going to do in the next video, and I'm going to give you the link to the file here in just 1 minute. But what we're going to do in next video, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment on this video. Let me know what other questions you have through this process that wasn't clear, and I'm going to answer that in the comments, okay? In the next video, we're going to share the whole process of picking your supplier based on your answers here. We're going to make sure that you receive samples. I'm going to go through the whole process of how do you order samples, how do you get them affordably, what kind of samples do you have to get, when to get samples. There's one of the biggest mistakes that I see is regarding samples. Okay, and you probably, if you learn how to do it from any other person on YouTube, you probably make that mistake. Okay, so tune into next videos. I'll show you exactly how to order your samples. I'm not exactly sure when that video is going to come out, so make sure you turn on that little notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when the video is here so you don't miss it, okay? I'm going to give you the link right now to the contact template so you can download it from there, okay? It's easy peasy sourcing.com/ what do we want to call that? Where should we put it? Contact not just contact file. Okay, we're just gonna make it a contact file, contact template. Let's do contact template. Okay, this is the link. You can go there. You can get this. You can get it all for free. This is your link where you can get the file. In the next video, like I said, we're gonna speak all about the samples. This was the first part of a whole series, and I believe all of the things that you learn in here, you can apply them right away. I know people personally that charge a lot of money for this information, and they're probably, gonna get mad at me, but I don't care because I just want you to have the fastest way to success. I see you in the next video. I'm looking forward very, very much to see you and hear you well, I don't see you and I don't hear you. Okay, I look very much forward for you to see and hear me in the next session, and wish you a great, successful, and awesome day.